Now, you walk down the streets and you hear somebody really thumping their chest on how much dollars they have. Or maybe you're working in the hospitality industry and a colleague of yours is really happy because he has just got tipped by a mzungu somewhere some good dollars, and they're really eager to know how much it costs in their local currency. Now, oh, sorry, I also have a dollar here that I was tipped by a friend of mine. But how did the US dollar gain such a wide populace? And by the way, the US dollar is not the strongest currency. In fact, the Kuwaiti dinar, the Bahraini dinar, or the Omani rial, or maybe the Great Britain pound and euro and some more others are much stronger than the US dollar. But the US dollar has always been used as a reserve currency. Let's see how and why. The dollar widespread use began after World War II. In July 1944, representatives from 44 countries met in a secluded Mount Washington Hotel in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. The conference agenda was to agree on how to finance the respective countries and come up with a long-term plan on how to recover from the devastations of the war. Now, after 3 weeks of talks, the delegates agreed on reconstruction of the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, and the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. The institution's objective was to finance member countries, which included Egypt, Ethiopia, South Africa, and Liberia from Africa. The IMF was to offer short-term loans to countries on crisis, while the IBRD was to give loans for the reconstruction of countries affected by World War II and less developed countries. The IMF was empowered to develop a fixed exchange rate based on the US dollar and the gold. So basically, each IMF member measured the value of their currency by the dollar. The IMF also accepted gold from member countries as loan repayment. The IMF also sold gold to countries which needed them. And all of these transactions were done in US dollars. Now, in 1958, the Bretton Woods system became fully functional, and the US dollar was convertible at a fixed exchange rate of 35 US dollar per 1 ounce of gold. But why gold? So many nations preferred keeping their wealth in form of gold because it do not depreciate in value. In 1971, President Richard Nixon, who was the US president then, ended up the dollar convertibility to gold. This was after there were reports that the US balance of payment deficit led to foreign-held dollars exceeding the US gold stock. At that time, more than 120 countries had joined IMF as members, and by 1973, many countries were exchanging their currency to dollar, which was relatively stable. It gained prominence as many countries were now using it as trade currency. Due to its extensive use, so many nations began using the US dollar as their reserve currency. A reserve currency is a foreign currency that is held in significant quantities by the central bank or other monetary authority as part of their foreign exchange reserves. But why would nations hold reserves? Now, it's used for international transactions, investments, and all aspects of global economy, including stabilizing their domestic currency in times of economic shocks, like sudden capital outflows or sharp decline in export earnings.